She comes back to the computer, and I said, "What's going on, Mom?" She said, "There's people here who want to give us a shot." I said, "At your home? What are they trying to give you?" "Oh, and ask them if it's a thing called Gardasil." So she goes back, and I've got several little sisters there that we don't want touched. So they're going around through the Billy Boy and Melinda Gates Foundation, through the Catholic Church over there, and handing out small bags of rice if they can inoculate you in your home.
Wow.
Not only that, my mother-in-law is in her early 50s and had a hysterectomy earlier last year. They actually wanted to give her the shot, but when they went through the quick little card questionnaire, she had a hysterectomy, and they said, "Well, this doesn't count for you." So this is my family overseas who is not cognizant or privy to the information we enjoy here, getting, they're attempting to inoculate them in their home. And I'm a medical professional, and I'd say, heck no.
Yeah, I'm really glad you called in. This is a great point. Door-to-door vaccinations. We've seen this in the U.S., and you mentioned that they were giving them a reward of a bag of rice if they allowed themselves to get the shot. That's what we're going to see more and more of, is either financial or material incentives to agree to be injected with what essentially are experimental and potentially harmful vaccines with all kinds of stealth viruses, animal DNA, RNA fragments from who knows what source. That is some scary stuff. I appreciate your call, and it's great to bring that up. It's also a good defense just to tell them, hey, I've had a hysterectomy, and then it doesn't apply to me. That's something that every female listening should keep in mind. If they come to your house and try to give you an injection, just say, hey, I've had a hysterectomy, it doesn't apply to me. Maybe that'll make them go away. Oh, man. But probably soon they're going to start bringing the vaccines with firearms, especially if they can disarm the entire American public. Then they know that nobody's got any way to defend themselves against these biological chemical attacks known as experimental vaccines. Let's go to Judy in Florida. Judy, you're on the air. Thanks for joining us today. What's on your mind?
Hi, Mike. Thanks for taking my call. I don't know how much it's been, brought up, in your office about what happened in Los Angeles with the art walk, where it's a monthly deal where people come and they just draw art, from what I understand, on sidewalks, and it's just a fun monthly thing that people in Los Angeles do. Well, on Friday night, there were riot police that came and dispersed people. It alerted shop owners who came out, and it turned into people getting shot upon. And it was a friend of mine that watched the live stream of
Wait, who was doing the shooting? Who was shooting?
It was a friend of mine, and I can give you his full name.
No, I mean, when you say people were fired upon,
people were fired upon by riot police with what my friend said were .40 caliber foam grenade bullets. And Fox News covered it, and I think it was NBC, and also it was in the Huffington Post, where I don't know if they actually talked in the articles about people being shot upon.
Okay, but, guys, in the control room, can you search on that and see if there's a video or something about that incident? It's called the Art Walk in Los Angeles.
A monthly event, and they turned it into, in the mainstream media, an Occupy movement. It had nothing to do with Occupy anything.
Well, no, this is about showing the people who's in charge here, and thank you for your call. That's a really good point. Look, art is now probably going to be considered an act of terrorism. How dare you express yourself on a sidewalk using chalk, for example. Look, who was the artist that was featured here on the show that drew, I think, Chase or JP Morgan Bank on fire and then was threatened with arrest or even detained? I don't remember the details, but yeah, artists are under attack. Hey, we're showing the video right now on prisonplanet.tv of exactly what you were talking about there. So you're exactly right on. Here we're seeing protesters. There's chalk art on the sidewalk. A lot of people filming with cameras, a lot of lights and probably sirens. We can't hear the audio, but clearly large number of people collected there. The police look like they formed a line. They've got motorcycle cops there with their lights blinking, protesters with signs. Here comes the audio so we can hear a little bit of what's going on. I don't see any I don't see anybody firing. The motorcycles are now advancing toward the crowd, and this apparently took place last night in Los Angeles, and this is from a tip of a caller right here on the Alex Jones Show. I tell you what, keep watching that video there, guys, and if something interesting happens, come back to me, and we'll continue with that. Otherwise, I'm going to continue with other callers, because all these callers have such great information. Scott in Idaho is next on the line. Scott, you're live on the Alex Jones Show. Thanks for calling in.
Hi, Mike Adams. A real pleasure to be on the phone with you. I want to address the upcoming war with Iran. It was concluded at Nuremberg that to initiate a war of aggression is not only an international crime, it is the supreme international crime, differing only from other war crimes in that it contains within itself the accumulated evil of the whole. We've been at war with Iran for some time now, with our cyber attacks, military psyops, propaganda, and sanctions. We're already in Iran killing, and yet Congress has not declared war, which the United States Constitution says that Congress has that right, even though the executive department stole it some time ago. No,
well said. The executive branch of government now doesn't even talk to Congress anymore. It's let's just legalize the immigrants. Let's just declare a penalty to force everybody into monopoly-controlled healthcare systems that give money to big pharma, which are now total criminal mafia organizations, admittedly on the record. You're right. Who consults Congress anymore? They just declare war. They just declare themselves to be king. It's incredible. Any other thoughts on that?
You betcha. James Madison said, and I quote, "Of all the enemies to public liberty, war is perhaps the most to be dreaded because it comprises and develops the germ of every other. War is the parent of armies. From these proceed debts and taxes, and armies and debts and taxes are the known instruments for bringing the many under the domination of the few. In war, too, the discretionary power of the executive is extended. Its influence in dealing out offices, honors, and emoluments is multiplied, and all the means of seducing the minds are added to those of subduing the force of the people."
Absolutely. Look, I didn't mean to cut you off, but this is why this incident that's happened today in the Strait of Hormuz is potentially very important, that the U.S. Navy has fired on a ship there with 50 caliber rounds and has killed one person. That's why this is important. You're exactly right. That's a very important quote. I'm glad you brought that to us, and thank you for your call. I do want to go to some other callers here. Julio in Julio in Illinois joins us now. Julio, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Mike, you do a phenomenal job. Fan of your work. And big thanks to Mark Dice and others that covered Bohemian Grove. They did a great job this weekend. I got two things. I was covering the CPAC Chicago event a couple weeks ago, and I haven't released this video yet, but there's a freshman congressman from Kansas. His name is Tim Holtzcamp, I believe his name is. I didn't know who he was, but during his press conference, he mentioned he was a part of the Agriculture Committee. So I thought it would be a great time to ask a congressman a question on GMO labeling, whether he agrees with it or not. Little did I know that this guy is Monsanto funded.
Oh, really?
So, I asked him, number one, with Monsanto lobbying taking place in Washington, and so many people are concerned with GMOs, do you feel that we should have labeling, differentiating GMO foods to non-GMO foods?
What do you say?
He admits to me, number one, that he's a GMO farmer. He has a family farm out in Kansas. I believe he gets government subsidies. I'd have to do more research on that. But number two, he admits that we, the American people, are already eating some form of genetically engineered food. Again, this is a Kansas congressman, Tim Holtzcamp. He's Monsanto funded. You can look up on Open Secrets. Admits to me in a press conference, I'm going to release this video, that we eat GMO food and that he grows GMOs, and that is perfectly fine.
That's incredible. Did you shake his hand and find he has 7 fingers? I mean,
I did not shake his hand.
Yeah, good for you.
Incredible. It is incredible because he's saying that if people want to pay more for organic food, they can go ahead and pay more. But again, we eat genetically engineered food already, and there's no harm to it.
Oh, that's incredible. But what an admission that it's already infiltrated the entire food supply, and that genetic pollution has already taken place, and he's going to continue to pollute our nation with his own crops as a farmer and try to represent the people, even while he's growing corporate property, intellectual property seeds. Give me a break. Great call, though. I'm glad you brought that up. A lot more straight ahead. Stay with us. And we're back on the Alex Jones Show. Mike Adams, the health ranger, filling in. We're taking calls, and I got to say, I really love the callers onto this show because they're so well informed. They really get it. They bring great ideas, lots of innovation out there. And before we go to more calls, just very quickly, in the next hour, we've got Alex Jones with his Ask Alex segment. That's coming up. And also, I'll be back tomorrow hosting yet again with some really groundbreaking info. We've got a whistleblower inside a major global pharmaceutical company that's going to go public with some very eye-opening information about what happens behind the scenes in the mafia pharmaceutical industry, which we know is, well, led by criminals. That's just a matter of public record now, actually, with these settlements that have been taking place. But let's go to some more calls. We've got David in Georgia on the line. David, thanks for joining us. Go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. How are you, Mike?
Hi, I'm doing great, David. Everything going all right with you?
Yes, good. I've been awake since the 60s, and in the 70s I read None Dare Call It Conspiracy, and in that book it says that well, now I've lost my train of thought. Anyway,
well, that's a good book,
if we lose our Second Amendment rights, the rest of our rights will fall like they have fell in a well.
Absolutely, yeah.
We have to keep it from happening.
I completely
don't know how we can do it, but we need to organize something to stop this.
Completely agree with you there, David. You're absolutely right. The Second Amendment is what makes all the other amendments possible, because without the Second, I mean, even with the Second still in place, the government is trying to take away the Fourth, the Fifth, the First, of course. I mean, everything, you name it, they're trying to take it away. Very good point there from David. This is why we have to resist that UN treaty effort and support those who would, honor the Constitution, honor the Founding Fathers. What's so hard about that? The Bill of Rights. Let's go to Chris in Oklahoma. Chris, you're on the air on the Alex Jones Show. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Health Ranger. How's it been?
Good. It's good here, man. How about yourself?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good. I was with the 45th Infantry Brigade, Delta Company, 1st of the 279, 2nd Platoon. During Hurricane Katrina, I'm kind of calling it in on yesterday's subject. I'm sorry about that.
It's all right.
But I don't. It's just I've always wanted to get a hold of you guys and kind of get the word out there for those that still have that slight hesitation in the back of their head that gun confiscation can't and won't happen here. It already has. And I was only 21 years old, just really gung-ho, really dedicated to the Army, especially to the infantry. And I did whatever I was told.
And what did they ask you to do?
The first thing we did was we got a 3-week a book full of 3-week-old 911 phone calls, right? And then we had to go around and answering all the phone calls. So we were like cadaver dogs for about 3 weeks. And in between them, we would run night missions. And here's the thing. A lot of people may think that they'll see this on the news or they'll have time to get ready when the crap hits the fan or whatever. It's just, it's a truck, you know what I mean? It's a group of trucks. They pull up, they stack right on your home, as we did, and we broke entry. Yeah, we would yell out, Oklahoma Army National Guard, is anybody in need of assistance? But that's as we were booting in the door.
But wait a minute, it sounds like you weren't part of the Oklahoma National Guard. I mean, you were U.S. military.
Yeah, I was activated. I think about a week after Katrina, I was watching it on the news, and Sheriff Kamiko of Fox 23 told me before my unit even got a hold of me that I was going to New Orleans.
Wow! So
we got sent in, and we were the very, very first boots on the ground. Alpha Company.
And you were confiscating. You were confiscating firearms.
Left and right, yes. And we were also monitoring the New Orleans police because we kept having